Artistic Allure here. Welcome to my channel. And in this video today, I'm going to be drawing for you guys, whether you want to think of it as a sloppy sketch art or just sketch or drawing. However you want to think of it, your own opinion. Let's get into it. So, I actually, no joke, got bored the other night, and I don't know specifically what got into me. Maybe it's because I've been on electronics too long or what. And personally for me, I've been doing art for years, and I've tried drawing, I've tried sketching, and I've talked about how I can only draw stick figures, but that never seemed to work out. Okay, I've tried drawing actual sketches when I was taking art classes, which it never really worked out. And everyone has their own art skills. Some people don't do art, which is more than fine, okay? Nothing wrong with that. However, something that I've learned along the way is if you go onto an app such as Skillshare, which I've talked about on my channel, then you can learn actually quite a bit from various other things with art-wise, and even just more than art. And that's something that I learned my art from. The easiest parts for me when it comes to drawing, I am not kidding, is the facial features, so the eyes, the mouth, and the nose, and the eyebrows. And which that's fairly easy for a beginner artist even, but still everyone has their own art skill again. And when it comes to art, so emotion, and I hope you can read my handwriting. If you can't, is putting into art is emotion, which is a really good thing. Otherwise it just looks empty and it doesn't have that nice grasp, a nice look, if that makes sense to you. And if you guys have done art over the years, then you know what I'm talking about. Second one is therapy. So I do art therapy personally, and I'm not going to show that on here, just for your guys' sake and mine. But if you ever do any type of art therapy, or if you ever get into art therapy, that is something to consider and take it very seriously. And when you're doing art therapy, you put a lot of emotion in it because you can't express it verbally. So it's a really good form of art. Learn about yourself. I think of what you like and just of who you are, or maybe even just what's going on in your mind, or at least that's a theory of mine. I could be wrong, I could be not, but there are different types of things out there. And for me personally, something that when it comes to drawing and art, I like drawing eyes because they're very easy for me. But not only that, but in the pupil area, you can draw a hand, or you can draw a clock, which is what I drew. You can draw broken glass, anything you want in there. Or you can draw something simple as a heart. So it's very, it's something that I find very beautiful to draw when it comes to eyes. Another thing I have learned when it comes to art is, and I'm saying this one last time, or maybe a million times, I don't know. Hopefully one last time in this video, everyone has their own art skill and everyone will learn differently. But for me, how I just did this really fast, and I didn't have a lot of control. I just let my hand and my pencil do my own thing. So not having 100% control. And what I mean by that, to get into more detail, is, say, for doing a legitimate sketch of the entire body or the face, you start out with the head, the neck, and then you do the chest, and then you start out with the lower body, the arms. And for me, I've tried doing that various times, and well, I think I'm okay with that in that area, but that's just not how my mind works or my hand works. So when it comes to that stuff, I think you have to have a lot of control on how you draw it. And you have to do, but also a lot of shading. Well, I don't have shading pencils. I have mechanical pencils and an eraser, which I actually didn't use once in this video. But you have to have sharp lines, do a lot of shading, and that's something that you learn along the way over the years. And for me, that's something I could never get the hang of. But this is something that I've liked doing and I've learned to love very quickly. So if you ever want to do art, if it's something that you've looked up to, or if it's something that's even caught your eye, and you've thought about like doing it off and on, but you're not sure if you'd be good at it, never think of, oh, well, I probably can't do it. Don't get into that negative mindset. Think of, I can do it. I've got this. And a good way to figure that out is finding various types of art. Okay. And what I mean by that is your own art genre. So, which means no copyright. Yeah, copyright's bad. We all know that. At least, hopefully you know. Because it is illegal, which I have talked about into some detail of how bad copyright is in the art industry in a couple of my videos. But various types of art, because there's pixelated, there's digital, which that's like something you can also do on an iPad or on a phone. Then there's sketch, there's just line art, which to me, line art is kind of like a score, just it's more of lines and a swirl, just swirls mostly. But they're all shaped together. There's circles, there's triangles, and there's straight lines, which is something, if you know, or if you've learned so much about art, that is something you're going to pick up on eventually. There's also, think of anime, for example. Anime cartoon or anime manga. You know, the thick or thin comic books that you can find in a bookstore or buy on Amazon for over $100, which is unreasonable price. Look them up if you don't believe me. It involves, if I give you an example, so there's that. And there's different types of ways on how to draw manga characters. And I've tried over the years, and it's something that I'm okay with, but it's not something that, oh yeah, I could do this. Okay. yeah, this is just questionable. But everyone has their own type of art, whether you know it or not. And if you get into art, like if you ever want to again, then put in the hard work, try hard, don't give up, and you can figure out eventually along the way of what is my art type, what am I good at, because you are going to like your art a lot more and find it more enjoyable. And like giving an example of painting, so there's fluid art, which fluid art is on a canvas, if you haven't heard of it, and you would get 2 to 3 types of acrylic paint, or just I haven't painted in a long time personally. You put glue in a cup and then acrylic paint, and it's so weird. You mix it up together and you can do all sorts of weird styles, and it gets just all swirly, but it has to dry out in 70 degrees Fahrenheit, or at most 72, because if it dries out in cold, then it's gonna look all spotty and even cracked, which you don't want that. There's the paintings where you can draw a tree, which, if you can think of that as a tree, I don't know. And I've tried painting for years along the way, and it's not something I gave up on. It's something I lost interest in because I would see so many artists who would do fluid art and who would paint, and while they are very good at it, but it can take years to get good at it, which that doesn't mean that you should give up. Don't think about giving up, okay? Okay. If you have like any questions, I would love to do a Q&A with you when it comes to whether it's my photography or my drawings, my art. And if you, so this clock, for example, in the eye, you can also, you can look up what it means, or you can screenshot it if you're interested in wanting to know what it is. And I think what this means is it's a symbolism of, I could be wrong, so you can correct me in the comments, feel free to, but I think it means a symbolism of nightmares or time flying by. I don't know, I'm probably wrong on both of them. You guys sent me drawings of what you guys did, or if it was a painting or whatever, that would be really cool. Even if it was something that you found really emotional, and if it was a favorite cartoon character or a favorite show from a series, that would be really cool if you guys sent me a DM and, hey, check this out. Like, that'd be really cool. I wouldn't mind seeing your artwork or your photography. Yeah, and I would love to give out some feedback on it and make a video about it. And I wouldn't be harsh down in the core of just going into detail of how terrible it is. Like, that's not up my alley. Like, I would, if you guys were comfortable, I would like to talk about that in one of my videos. If you guys ever DM to me about, hey, this is what type of art I do, can you check it out and see what you think? That's just an example. Anyway, that is all for now. I will see you next one. Bye!